everybody, thanks for tuning into our channel again. My name's Jen with Allegory Gallery and JNT Creations in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. I have another fun tutorial for us today. So if you've liked what we've been doing for you, please like, subscribe, and share. And we would love to see what y'all have made with our tutorials, so please post it on Allegory Gallery Design Challenge on Facebook. All right, let's get started. Alrighty, I'm gonna teach you how to make a basic, simple ring. I'm gonna do a single one for you guys on camera. And I'll do a double one. There are lots of variations you can do. There's this triple. It just requires going around the ring mandrel a couple more times. Then you can incorporate a fun little bead, do some little sanding on it. There's a lot of going around. I'm going to teach you this simple little spiral one first, and then we'll do this little beaded one. There's lots of variations. Play with it. Do your own thing, add some more beads, add different beads, change up your material. For this one, we are going to use 20 gauge. I always suggest 20 gauge for a ring, otherwise it gets very difficult to work with. I also advise you to use dead soft. Just smoothing it out here with my nylon coated pliers. Now the trickiest thing with rings is figuring out your size, because just because these things are marked with ring sizes doesn't necessarily mean that ring size is going to be true. So put one of your rings on here and figure out which number you need to use. And I don't actually suggest the plastic mandrels. I don't make a ton of rings, so I never invested in a good metal mandrel. But if you're going to get into it, I really highly suggest the metal mandrels because they're a lot more accurate. And these, I think the wire sometimes tends to bite into it and it marks it up. So for all intensive purposes, we're going to use this one today. Some other handy tools to have besides a ring mandrel. If you do not have a ring mandrel, I would wander around your house with one of your rings and find something round that works. I don't suggest a dowel because the wire will bite into that wood and it might be hard to get your ring off. You'll be very disappointed. And then depending on how many times you want to go around, if you're going to do a single band or the triple band, really depends on how much wire you need. So for this ring right here, I ended up using 12 inches of the 20 gauge. For this one, I think I probably only used maybe about 8 inches, but it's always better to go with more wire than you think you might need, and then just whatever's left. 20 gauge is perfect for ear wires, so make yourself some ear wires with what you have left. Other helpful tools, a file. It's just a nail file, an emery board. And I have a round file here and a flat file just for some more aggressive grinding. And on the inside where you're going to have your piece left off, it's helpful to have that round file to just get in there and kind of file that down so it doesn't scratch your finger. Flush cutters, needle nose, flat nose, blunt nose, blunt nose, thicker blunt nose. And if you need them, the bent nose pliers. Let's clear off our workspace here. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I smoothed out, it's about 10 inches of wire. Cut that off. And you want to find about the midway point, about the middle. And that's the spot. Let's see, let's do an approximately 6.5 inch. So I'm going to put that midway point on the round part of the mandrel because this part is flat. And that's where I want the front of the ring so that the back of the ring stays smooth. So I'm going to bring that wire up to the front on both sides. Try to stay in the little groove that's there. Bring those wires to the center. And where they cross, give it a quick twist. And that quick twist is supposed to stay twisted. Okay. Get your thumb in there and kind of flatten that down a little. I'm going to give it a little tug here because it did loosen up. Okay. Now take the right side and go towards the left. Take your left and go around the right. Continue that spiral. If you get a little wonky, be real gentle with your tools because this wire will mar up easy. And just follow that spiral. Go around as many times as you want. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just chasing that spiral. And I think I've gone around enough times. Now I'm going to take off my ring mandrel. I'm going to use my nylon tool to just kind of bite down on that spiral just a little bit and flatten it back out. Okay, so notice where I left off. I've got one wire pointing up on the right and one pointing down on the left. And we don't need all of that excess. And as a matter of fact, you'll find it very difficult to wrap that around the ring. You really only need about 1 inch. So go ahead and cut that off with your flat nose or your flush cutters. Okay. And now, to keep everything flat, I'm going to take my flat nose and I'm going to gently grab across that entire spiral. I'm going to take my flat nose I'm going to grab the very end of that wire and I'm going to kind of curl that. This is where you're going to find it's going to be really easy to bend your band out of shape. And you don't want to do that. So notice what I'm doing. I'm making really small movements until that gets tight. Be patient with it. Do not rush it. Wire does not like rushing. Okay, and I have gone around 3 times. You can go around twice if you want. I definitely suggest at least twice. And now, when I'm coming around that one side, I'm going to just cut off a little bit of excess. I'm going to reposition my left hand. If you're left-handed, reposition your right hand. And I'm just gently squeezing and kind of turning that. But I'm doing it very, very gently because this wire will bend very easily. And I want to curve that around so that it's not on the top and it won't scratch you when you like scratch your face or something. But it's going to be a little scratchy right there. That's where our file comes in handy. But I'll wait until we get the other side done. So grab hold of that spiral one more time. Grab your flat nose and just kind of gently curve that around. You see how many times I reposition my tool? I'm going to gently squeeze that there. Bring it around one more time. So we have an equal number of times around on both sides. There we go. Okay. And then squeeze that in tighter. There is a lot of repositioning involved. Okay. And now you see we're not quite round. We got a little wonky. So we're going to put that back on the mandrel. Make sure that that band goes in the back and your spiral goes on the front. And keep it centered so that you don't get bent out of shape. Just kind of squeeze it down until you can't go anymore. All right. This is where we're going to make final adjustments. Bring everything back into shape. Do it very gently. All right. Okay, I like the way that's looking now. And finally, just to make sure everything is nice and smooth, I'm going to take the end of one of my tools that's squishy, and I'm just going to kind of push it along that mandrel just to get it nice and tight and back into shape. You could hammer it if you want, if you have an anvil, but I don't really like doing that because it flattens the wire and it's way too easy to bend it out of shape. All right, so this is cool the way it is, but I like to get a little fancier, you know. So I'm going to take my nail file and I'm going to hold on to that back. I'm just going to gently file it until I have a nice little shape that I kind of like. Some of the more raised parts are going to get flattened a little bit more. This also helps to toughen it up a little bit since copper is a very soft wire. These are rings that you're going to have to be very careful with when you wear them. Just go very lightly on it. And since that is an aggressive file, it's going to be rough, so you're going to want to go over it again with your emery board or some super fine sandpaper. There we go. Just polish that up a little bit. Rub fingers on it. Yep, that's good. It's not too rough. Now pop that off your mandrel. Very gently. There we go. It's a good shape to it. Now run your finger through the back and make sure that that's not going to be too rough. Try it on. Hope it comes off. That feels nice and smooth actually. But just for giggles, let's go through here. Just gonna very gently go back and forth where that wire end is. Just smooth it up. And hit up the other side. There we go. Look it over. Anything you missed? Are you happy with it? You're happy with it? Great. So one more final thing you can do to give it another look is throw it in some liver of sulfur and put a patina on it. We're going to oxidize it that way. But you don't have to, because it will eventually oxidize on its own. But if you like that bright copper look, every now and then you're going to want to stick it in some distilled vinegar. If you need to, add a little lemon juice and some salt, and that's basically a penny bright solution right there. But I think we're good the way we are. All right, so there's one ring. And now let's show you the beaded. So for the beaded double band, I'm going to use, and if you need to make a larger ring, then you're definitely going to need a lot more wire. This one right here is about an 8.5 to a size 9. And this one I did use almost all of the 12 inches. 12 inches is probably the max you're going to need unless you're going to make a thumb ring or you got a man who needs a man ring. So let's smooth out this wire again. So we're going to approximately do, let's see, about 10 inches again. All right. This time we're going to put on our bead. Make sure that you have bead that will fit on 20 gauge wire. This is a 3mm amethyst bead. So you're going to put that dead center. And this time I'm going to use this one that has a little deeper backside. And let's once again go with about a 6.5. So I'm going to put that bead in the center. This little groove is great because it gives you kind of something to hold on to. Did I say 6? I meant 7. Then you're going to cross around the back. And put your finger there. So one side is going to come up around the top. The other side is coming around the bottom. This is where it gets a little difficult because you got to hold that steady. I'm going to kind of curve that wire up. And I'm going to curve this one down. And hold that steady. Okay, so it's a cute little, like an eye design. And once again, we only need about an inch on both sides. So let's go ahead and give that a cut. And this mandrel right here has enough space that I can kind of curve that around while it's on the mandrel still. So let's get the other one out of the way so it can stop being a nuisance. Let's be gentle. Slow movements. And reposition. You know what? Let's go ahead and take that off. Another thing you can do is if you kind of know about where you need to make that bend, start it. And then continue working. And this one, I definitely suggest you go around 3 times. And you are going to see that band kind of curl like that a little bit. And we'll have that. Go ahead and start the other side too. Start to curl. Slow, gentle movements. It may look like a mess at first, but don't worry, you're gonna get it. This ring is a lot easier to make when you're not on camera too. All right. Snip that kind of in the center of the 2 bands because you're going to squeeze it tight. Slow and steady movements because you don't want those bands to get crossed. And cut that excess off. And now let's smooth everything out. Back on your mandrel. Very gentle because you're trying to put it back into shape, not bend it out of shape. All right. So now just work that ring into the shape you want. Gentle movements. Just work it until you're happy with the shape. I think I'm about there. Pop that on the mandrel one last time. Squeeze that band together gently. And I don't know if this actually really helps or not, but after I make a ring, I kind of let it cool off on the mandrel for, I don't know, I'll probably leave it on there for about an hour, or I'll forget about it and take it off the next day. But it just kind of seems to me to hold the shape a little bit better. There. And like I said, I'm doing this on camera, so it's kind of a struggle. But when you're working it up against your body closer, it's easier to do. But these are our 2 basic rings in a nutshell. Here's another variation. I just went around that bead a few more times. This one here is a triple band spiral. This one, another bead, just a larger bead. This one's a 3mm, this one's a 6. Yeah. Lots to do, a lot of little variations. And they're quick sellers too. If you go into a festival or, you know, you've got a craft show to do, they're really quick sellers. Couple dollars, and you'd be surprised how many you'll sell, and, you know, alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Please, once again, if you like what we've been doing for you, like, share, hit that subscribe button, and post what you've created on Allegory Gallery Design Challenges on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.